afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Education, Leadership, and Beyond, Surviving and Thriving. My name is Andrew Murata, host of the show, proud member of the Education Podcast Network, Voice Ed Radio Canada, live here on Facebook, wherever you're taking in your podcast. Appreciate you tuning in live and happy to be on today. I do want to thank today's sponsor. It is IXL. They have been with me for quite some time. If you're an educator, I'm sure you've heard of IXL. And here is a quick word from our sponsor. Hey, friends, Andrew Murata here, Surviving and Thriving. And I want to thank today's sponsor for the podcast, IXL. Discover the power of data-driven instruction in your school with IXL. It is the most widely used online learning and teaching platform K through 12. It gives you everything you need to maximize learning, from a comprehensive curriculum to meaningful school-wide data. And IXL's diagnostic is research proven to be a strong predictor of performance on standardized assessments, including NWEA, MAPS, STAR, iLearn, just to name a few. And the best part, everything I just mentioned is all integrated into one platform, so you can simplify your ed tech tools. Visit IXL.com to lead your school towards data-driven excellence today. The link is in the show notes. And again, I want to thank IXL for sponsoring Education, Leadership, and Beyond. All right, let's get rolling. We are going to meet in just a couple of minutes Coach Joe Coscia from Staten Island. Joe is a lifelong Staten Islander, my paisan from Staten Island. I love talking to school leaders and people still connecting me to Staten Island, where I grew up. But Joe coached for 35 years, 849 games. Incredible. Susan Wagner High School, the basketball coach. And he just shared he was the golf coach for 20 years as well. But I had a chance to officiate Joe many times. Always a gentleman, always with class. There was some characters. If you're watching this show from Staten Island, you know there was some characters in that Staten Island High School League. I mean, I learned how to do it there, and some of these guys were off the hook. Joe always remained even keel, professional, respectful towards the officials, right? Never lambasting us, never really getting after us. Competitive, fiery, wanted to win, firm, and but commanded respect, and just always appreciated the way he carried himself. Give Joe a shout out on his retirement. So we'll meet Joe in just a moment. But as I was preparing for the show, I was thinking about wins and losses, right? 445 wins. And he was doing this for 35 years. So there's some losses there too. The wins and losses. And I'm going to ask Joe about longevity. But each day in school, each day leading schools, if you're a teacher, you're driving a bus, whatever it is you're doing in schools, there's wins and losses. There's wins and losses in our lives. The Yankees, Joe's Yankees, they're down 3-0. They got those 3 losses in the World Series. The New York Giants, they're racking up the losses. And those are sports things, right? But even in our lives, wins and losses. And when you could stack up those wins, when you could keep rolling with the wins, and I'm certainly going to ask Joe because he spoke a little bit off air about those losses early on in his career, and he learned how to coach. He learned how to get through it. So keep rolling with your wins and losses, right? Never as good as all your wins and never as bad as all your losses. And we're usually somewhere in between. So keep rolling, friends. Enough of me chit-chatting. Let's meet the star of today's show, coming to us from Florida, not from Staten Island, Coach Joe Coscia. Joe, welcome.
Thank you. What a different avenue right now. This is great. Let's have some fun.
Let's have some fun. I'm sure. We talked about the timing of the show, that we're going to be about 40 minutes, and I said I could talk to Joe for 40 days.
All right, we could talk about Yankees. How about yesterday? Just think about it. New York fans, we lost with the Yankees. We lost with the Giants, and we lost with the Knicks. It was just a horrible day.
It's a tough day.
But again, like you said, wins and losses, you got to pick yourself up and keep on moving ahead.
Joe, 35 years, longtime coach, Susan Wagner High School. You saw people come and go. You saw changes through it all. How does it feel now, looking back on a great career, longevity, and all that you've done there? 35 years. How do you feel?
Yeah, it's I'm relieved because I always said if I couldn't do it the right way, then I have to get out. And I never cheated the game. I never cheated teaching. I never cheated coaching. Okay, but coaching has become a 24/7 job. It's become 12-month job. I mean, we have fall league, we have summer league, we have conditioning, we have weightlifting. I mean, if you want to do it the right way, which I did, then it's going to take up a lot of your time, and because of that, you take away from your family a little bit. And now I got 4 grandkids and another one on the way, and I like to spend some of my time with them. Maybe I'll coach my little guys there.
You got a little experience. I think you could share a little knowledge.
Yeah, I can. I think so. But we'll see. I try to give my little one JT a golf stick the other day, and he basically threw it at me. So we'll see what that.
Joe, 849 games, 35 years. When you look back at the big picture, what are some things that really stand out to you? Things that you really remember, you really cherish along that journey?
You know what? I mean, like you said, the wins, the losses. People say, "Hey, I'm the second leading wins on Staten Island behind Tony Raffanello, legendary coach. I think he's got 500 and change, and I don't know whatever I have, 470, whatever." But you know what? I'm gonna miss the camaraderie of the coaches. I'm gonna miss my coaching staff. They were great with me. We set up a program a certain way, and once you set up a program and standards, and they follow and enforce those standards, then things run pretty smooth. But in sports, there's always a couple of hiccups. But I'm gonna miss the relationships with the kids too. And that's something that coaching and teaching. Uh, I think the kids, and it's like a text. You hit send, and they're on to the next thing. And I enjoyed the banter between my students and myself, the banter between my players and myself, and that's what I'm really going to miss the most.
Yeah. Joe, you said off air, like I said, wow, Joe, you really had some run here at the end, 65 and 18 in your last 3 seasons. And I know it's not all about the wins, but
No.
65 and 18 is pretty dang good. And you said, well, it was really the last 10 years.
Yes.
But you talked about learning through the losses, right? Maybe not having the best teams early on. What are some of those lessons that you did learn through
Yes.
those losses, as you shared?
It's all about persevering. Okay. If you're in this business, I mean, you're going to get knocked down. You're going to get knocked down a couple of times. And, my first 10 years, we weren't very talented. It wasn't known as a basketball school, Susan Wagner. It was more of a football school. To change that narrative, it took some time. It really took some time, but it was worth it. It was really worth it. In the beginning, I said, okay, every 3 or 4 years, I would have a good team because I would pick up, like, say, sophomores and then have them for 3 years and mold them and teach them the right way. Okay, to respect the game and to play the game the right way. But through those losses, you learn how to coach from getting blown out in the beginning to, hey, you know what? Let's try a couple different things. And before you know it, hey, maybe we weren't winning, but we were in the games and
Yeah.
the games were close. And then as the talent increased, it was funny. I forget the year exactly, but they opened up the attendance, okay, where it used to be you had to go to your zone school. And now you could get into pretty much any school if they have a certain program. Okay, you apply for it. If you get in, then great. And once they did that, we started getting kids from like Port Richmond's district. We had a kid in Tottenville who went to Wagner, and it helped us. It helped us. But I still believe that we're missing something on Staten Island because it was great when we had the neighborhood rivalries. There was nothing like Newt Farrell. There was nothing like Curtis and Newt or whoever, Peters, Curtis. It was, you wanted to beat them. You played against them in CYO or whatever, an AU ball, and you wanted to, beat them. And then eventually you joined up with them because they came to your school or whatever. But
Yeah.
that's changed.
If you're watching the show live, jump in, say hello. Maybe you're one of Joe's former players, one of Joe's colleagues from Wagner. Please jump in and say hello. Joe, help me out. Did the Staten Island High School League, did it go away? I know it went away, but did it come back, or is
Yeah,
it?
it's back.
It
It's
is
back.
back.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's back. I gave up I was the president for, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 years. And I gave that up my last 2 years. Charlie Donahue now is the president. We did not have the tournament during COVID, unfortunately, for 2 years.
Yeah.
That it's funny because that was probably my best team. But hey, what are you gonna do? Anyway, so then it's back. It's still the best 10 days of the year for Staten Island.
Yeah.
It really is unbelievable. And did you ref those games or what?
I did ref those games. I did my first championship with Dave Fernandez.
You did, huh?
He said, and those were 2-man games back then.
Oh wow! Was it
Yeah.
at the college or was it at the
College of Staten Island?
It was
Yeah,
College
no,
of
it was
Staten
at the
Island.
College of Staten Island, the Thanksgiving game, and
Yep.
those were great games for sure.
Yeah, you were pretty good, man. You were pretty good as a ref.
I appreciate
You
that.
were one of the few guys I liked.
And Joe, I talked off, in the beginning, like there was some crazy people coaching in those games. I mean, I got my butt kicked a bunch, and I learned how to ref. You were always a gentleman on the sideline. You always just kind of even keel. You didn't lose your mind there.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your demeanor on the sideline.
Yeah, well, you know what? I had that as a player and I had that as a coach. I think I got that from my dad. Don't get too high or too low. Think of the next play, and my mind was always thinking. And all my years coaching, honestly, there has not been a referee that has decided a win or a loss. And the game is fast. The game is hard. I do respect that. I understand that. And there's not a referee that goes into a game and says, hey, I'm going to screw Wagner or I'm going to hurt this guy or that guy. The game is too fast. Okay. Yeah. It's all about reaction and understanding things. And they really have no factor in how we play. Okay. Now, are there some good referees and some average ones? Yeah, there are, but like I said, hey, I make mistakes, kids make mistakes, and referees make mistakes, but you move on and next play. We teach the kids next play, and the same thing with a call.
Amen to that, Coach.
Yep.
Coach, longevity. I've been in Port Jervis 25 years. I love it here. It's become my second home. 35 years. What are some secrets to the longevity? How did you continue to last and continue to perform and win after all those years? Give me some secrets to your longevity.
Well, you know what? First of all, you have to love what you do. Every day, I loved going to work. Okay, whether it be a teacher, whether it was coaching, whether it was the games, I just loved it. I mean, I'm not that complicated guy, so there's things that are just very simple, and I like going to work, and I like doing coaching and being around kids. The kids keep you young. Okay, are they frustrating? Yes. Do you get a little crazy sometimes with them? But overall, you just hang in there. There might have been 1 year, probably maybe 7 or 8 years ago, I had a bad group. They didn't gel. I tried my darndest with them. They didn't like each other. And, I persevered, I carried it, but they really just wore me down. And I thought about saying, hey, maybe this is it. I can't get to them. Maybe this is it. And thank God my wife stepped in and she said, you know what? Don't make a decision now because you're emotional. It's just after the season. Take a couple of months. If you still feel the same way, then you quit. But other than that, a couple of months went by, and you know what? You recharge the batteries, and you go, let's go. Let's get that next group in. Come on, let's work. And I tell you what, it's really become a full-time job. It really has. But it's something. It's a passion.
you coached other sports. You were involved in your kids' things. Your daughter went on to play college basketball.
Yeah.
Did you ever think about doing something different along there? Maybe becoming a supervisor or doing something different? I mean, you coaching
You know
now.
what? I probably had a couple opportunities to go at the college level, but back then it would have been starting at like the fourth assistant, third assistant, this and that. And by the time, I would have made that jump to, maybe a head coach or something, then it would have been real difficult. I would have been one, older. Two, I would have had to give up my teaching career, my pension, this and that. And being an assistant, you really don't make the decisions as a head coach does. So I wanted to be able to, control my surroundings, so to speak. So,
Yeah.
but that was it. I loved baseball growing up. I'm a big Yankee fan, and I was just honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
Yeah, for my 35 years, and it was nice because it was given to me by the Staten Island baseball old timers. And a lot of people think of me as the basketball coach, but they don't realize that I was I was a baseball player, growing up. And
wow. And where did you go to school?
I went to New York, and I was a Division I baseball player at LIU.
How about that? I didn't know that,
Yeah,
coach.
yeah. So
Wow.
everyone says, "Oh, why didn't you coach basketball? Why didn't you coach baseball?" And I said, "You know what? I would have loved to coach baseball, but if you ever been at Susan Wagner in March and April, it's like the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. It is, oh my God, it is so cold up there." And I said, "It never snows or rains in the gym. You know? You prepare your team to the best of your ability, and you play the game."
Yeah.
Coaching baseball, I have to have a parker on. Come on, that's not fun.
And there's no clock.
Right, exactly,
There's no
exactly.
clock. Yeah.
But one year I thought about making the switch over. I think it was the year that I was disappointed in my team. I said,
Yeah.
maybe I should try something different and go to
How about
baseball.
that?
You
How
know?
about that, Joe?
Yeah.
Joe, you mentioned about that it's become a full-time job and just travel and the AAU and there's always something going on. In addition to that, what are some other things that changed over the years with the game?
Well, the 3-point line has really changed things. I mean, everybody wants to shoot the 3-point line, go to the 3-point line. Nobody wants to go and play with their back to the basket. Okay, none of the bigs. I mean, it's funny. I understand it. You see it in the NBA. I mean, did you see the first Nick Celtic game? I
I
don't know
did
how
not.
many. I don't know how many threes. I think they shot. I think it was 60 threes. They
Wow.
shot 60 threes on opening day, and they made, I think, 30 of them, which
Wow.
was incredible.
Wow.
But the game has changed. But the kids, have they changed? Yes, but they still want to be coached. They still want to be disciplined. The only thing that you have in your back pocket when you coach, especially basketball, and Bobby Knight said this: put their rear end on the bench. Because again, the game is fast. You don't have time sometimes to explain everything. Sit their butt on the bench, let them think about it. Next day when you're reviewing film, you break it down for them. Don't get into those confrontations. You know, um, what do they say? De-escalate it. That's a big word. I remember the last 2 years when I was teaching. De-escalation. Same thing. These kids are emotional. These kids come from different backgrounds, and you try to work through that. Try to work through their emotions and their issues.
Yeah.
And we
How
have a
about
lot. We have a
how
lot.
about these, Joe? What has the phone done with kids, with video, them watching themselves, highlights? Has that affected the
Yes.
showboating and wanting to be the guy on the film?
Yeah, it's very frustrating. Even last year when I was coaching, and we would stop for a 5-minute water break, and I didn't realize some of the kids were going get water and they were grabbing their phone, and it really got me upset. I was like, "Hey, there's nothing more important than what we're doing right now. Live for now." And again, because their lives and their brains are such a way that they do a text, they hit send, boom, they're on to the next thing. And they do it better than us because they can multitask, or at least they think they can, but I think they need to be more present. Okay. And if there's a way that we could get rid of these phones in school, when I was teaching health, I did a little project. I asked them to trust me. I want to collect all your phones. I put it in a nice cardboard box. I kept it on my desk. I said, I promise you at the end of the period, I'll give it back. So they did. They reluctantly, but they did give me their phones. And then I started teaching this and that. And the box was vibrating and going off like I thought it was like something out of Star Wars. Okay. It was crazy. But anyway, the kids, they kept on looking. They were like almost like they were shaking because they needed to get their phone. And I'm like, guys, class is 40, 45 minutes. Just chill, breathe, let it go. And it was just an experiment. And, it's just, it's a shame because I think they're missing something because of it. It's great for researching and finding stuff, information, but I don't know. I just think it's a little too much. I mean, I babysit every Wednesday for my daughter. And the other day, my little grandson was acting up. I even gave him my phone, and he shut up for like 5-10 minutes. Well, I don't know if that's right or wrong, but
Yeah.
Wow,
Wow.
it's not good.
Joe, how about this next generation? A young coach about to take over a program, whether it's in your school, somewhere else. What advice would you give to somebody? You've done it for so long.
Yep.
You did it with class. You did it with working through those hard times. What advice would you give a young coach?
The best thing is I still think that kids want to be coached. Okay. But you got to pick and choose what you say and how you go about it. And I always said that you need to develop a relationship with whether it was a student in your class or whether it was a player. Once you develop a relationship and they know that you care, okay, and sometimes, just got to laugh with them and fool around with them and just, show them that you're human. I think if you do that, then, the kids will respect you and listen to you. There's definitely different methods that you need to use with these kids, and that's one of them. Just develop a relationship with them. That's the first and foremost, and sometimes that's hard. Some kids are a little standoffish, but you're with them 6 days a week for months. And, I think you got to find like what makes them tick,
Joe, how about the kid that is pretty good at basketball and they really want to play at the next level, and they tell you that, and the kid's a sophomore, the kid's a junior, maybe they're not the best player on your team. We're going to host an event here in Port Jervis for kids that want to play in college. What would you say to that kid or that parent where they really want to play? Obviously, if they're super talented, it's easy to get to college. Right. But if they're not, what advice would you give to that family?
Well, there's all different divisions. There's Division 3, 2, 1, and so on. JUCO. First and foremost, a college recruiter is going to look at how talented you are. You have to have talent. If you don't have talent, they're not going to look at you. 2, you're going to have to be academically eligible. You're going to have to be a good teammate. Okay. So if you have all of those things and you want to play at the next level, then there's a chance. But, I always said to a kid, what are you doing, during the off season to make you better? Kids, one kid said, hey, you know what? You don't let me shoot, coach. You don't do this, that. I said, hey, you don't make the shots in practice. Why should you shoot in a game? I was open. Yeah, that's great. You know why you're open? Because you can't make a shot. That's why you're open. I wouldn't guide you either. But it's a little difficult to tell a kid that you're not going Division 1. If they haven't reached out to you by junior year, then it's real difficult. But I would recommend that you find a school that has your major academically, that has all the things socially you want, and fill out their athletic questionnaire. Okay, fill it out Some of them have camps. You go to a camp, and now you might have a camp for 3 or 4 days, and they get to know you. Okay, instead of seeing you at one of these camps, basketball exposure things for a couple hours, you're not with your teammates, and you know what? They're all shooting the ball and chucking and this and that, and you're really not. They don't get a chance to really see what you're about. But if you fill out the questionnaire and they respond back, and you go to their camp, that may help your situation. I always said, does it cost money? Yeah. So now it's socioeconomics with these kids too.
Yeah.
But that's what I would recommend.
Joe, I saw Kareem Abdul-Jabbar sold all his awards for donations, right? He's whatever millions, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you look around your trophy room, when you look at the plaques in your office, when you look at those things, what's the thing you're most proud of? I got my shrine to Port Jervis here, all my stuff, right? They bring back such warm memories. What are some things you are most proud of looking at?
Well, you're right. I do have a lot of plaques, trophies. It's funny because this last one I got, it was a really nice award. And I asked my wife, I said, can I bring it to Florida and put it on this beautiful mirror behind me? And she goes, you could only bring one. So if you ever went down to my mom's basement with all of the things from my two brothers and my sister, we would love to melt them down into like a Stanley Cup or something, but hey, you know what? Trophies are trophies, plaques are plaques. But to understand like how hard you work for that, I think that means more than any trophy or plaque can ever mean. Those are nice and everything, but the memories are really more important.
Yeah. And you certainly have a lot of them. If you're watching the show, jump in, say hello to Coach. Gerard Klein says hello,
Hey,
Coach.
Roddy, he was my assistant for a few years. Now he's in Myrtle Beach.
Oh, there you go.
He's the best.
You're at all the golf places here.
Yeah. I had a great staff. It was unbelievable. They kept me grounded. I had 2 retired policemen, and they would drive the kids to the games, to scrimmages, everything. The support staff was so important, because at the Board of Ed, New York City, you really don't get a budget for, buses and stuff like that. And, you need a lot of volunteer coaches and good parents to help you out, to do things the right way, And I was blessed. And even with my administration, whatever I asked them, hey, I need this, I need that. And, they pretty much gave it to me, which was great,
Joe, in your retirement, I don't know if they told you this, the New York City Department of Education, you as a retiree, you get 3 wishes. 3 wishes for the future of education, 3 wishes for teachers, 3 wishes for educators in their careers moving forward.
3 wishes.
What's going to be those wishes, Joe, that you can bring for future educators and education?
Well, the first thing is, hey, you know what? No one's an expert. No one is an expert. You make mistakes, okay? But just keep on playing through those mistakes, whether you're a player, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a coach, okay? That would be one wish. The second wish is for players and parents, just let the kids play. I remember playing high school baseball. My father was a minor league baseball player, and he stayed in the bleachers at Newdorf. Never said a word to the head coach. Okay, just supported. When I got home, maybe he said, hey, you know what? You should have did this, should have did that. Very light, but just supportive. I see all of these parents that getting upset at the CYO levels and AAU levels at a young age, and stop. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the process, because it is. It's not an end product. And then the last thing is, you know what? The kid who might be the best player in 4th grade or 6th grade or 8th grade in CYO is not necessarily the best player in high school. You get to high school, you don't know who gets quicker, bigger, stronger, who gets more refined in their skills, okay, understanding of the game. And then when you get that, you know what? It evens out. And, hey, are there some kids who are the best players in 8th grade and best players in high school and college? Yeah, there are. Sure. But there is also kids who have played, let's say, in the B division or C division, who, you know what, they kept on working on their skills and they got a little bigger, a little stronger, and they made themselves into, a nice high school player. So, it's never too late, and just keep on persevering. Okay.
Yeah.
And you could get there. You could get there.
Good answer there, Coach. I like it. Let me ask you this one, Joe. I watch a basketball game now. Like, I can't watch it not through the lens of an official. I'm watching the placement. I'm watching the play develop. I'm not watch. I can't turn it off as an official. When you're watching the game, are you coaching in
Yeah.
your mind?
Yep. Yep. And I think that's really helped me between watching every sporting event possible on TV and just watching the intricacies and how someone made a decision, just like Aaron Boone. He made that decision in game one. I'm never going to forgive him. He didn't bring in Tim Hill instead of who did he bring in? Nasty Cortez or whatever his name is. That still bothered me. But you know what? I don't know. I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, you're watching your
the game. Yes,
coaching lens. Yeah,
yeah. I definitely watch it through a coach, and see this guy Boogie. Someone just called me today about this. This guy Boogie Flan. Boogie Flan. He was originally signed with Kentucky, and then when Calipari left, he went with him to Arkansas.
Okay.
And I hear he's like the next best thing here.
Okay.
So, I like to see young players. I like to see the New York kids.
Oh, yeah.
On Staten Island, I don't know if you realize the last year in the public school, they changed our division. So if you were considered let's say a AA team, which there was only two, it was us and Curtis, you moved into a Brooklyn Staten Island division. So we played the Lincolns, we played the Jeffersons, we played Eagle Academy. I mean, it was unbelievable. And you know what? It might have also got me to retire, because in order to compete at that level, and we went 500, we were the only team that beat the two-time city champion Eagle. And we beat Jefferson, who was unbelievable. Anyway, but, to play those teams, I watched more film last year than I ever did in my life.
Wow.
Because you don't know the tendencies of their coaching staff, of the players. So you had to and because of social media, a lot of these teams' games are on. So you're able to watch them. But it's like, I have one eye open, one eye closed, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, I'm watching film, and I got to be up 5 o'clock in the morning. So it gets a little crazy.
Coach, something you wanted to talk about that I didn't ask you, or something you wanted to say?
Something that I wanted to say. The one thing is that there's these so-called experts out there, okay, and they're taking your money and they're trying to make your son or daughter better, and I understand that, okay, doing the private lessons, but sometimes we grew up, you played in the playground, you played with your friends, and you learned the intricacies of the game that way. I'll never forget, like if you go AAU and let's say you need to work on your shot, and you go to a tournament and you play 2 games on a Saturday, 2 games on a Sunday, and you might have taken maybe 5 shots total. That's not going to help your jump shot. You didn't have to go to the park. You didn't have to get somebody, it's not the end all. It's not the end all. It's nice, but what are you doing leading up to that? So that's the only thing that I got a little. And the other thing is with AAU is, the coaching there, they see you at your best, in the sense that they don't understand that there's a school aspect of it. So when you're an educator and a coach in a school, you see these kids and you're going to want to make sure that they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Okay. They're going to class on time. They have a notebook. They're sitting in front of the class. Okay. They're listening to the teacher, taking notes, and they're doing well in school, because, you want to see them in 4 years graduate.
Absolutely.
Okay? Yeah. And be eligible. Okay. And that was a big part. That would get me crazy if a kid wasn't doing the right thing in school.
Yeah.
And as a coach, you're dangling the carrot. The kid wants to play ball. Okay, you want to play ball. You got to do A, B, and C. You got to go to class. You got to get there on time. You got to do your homework. You got to pass. So it's what we do.
The wins and losses, Coach. 35 years, Coach Joe Coscia, everybody. Congrats, Coach. You've earned it. You've earned your retirement. You've earned that time in Florida.
Thanks.
So enjoy. I'm looking forward to seeing the one plaque. Which one makes it?
Yeah, I'm curious too. My wife. I don't know what she's gonna allow me to do. I'm down here now because I'm doing a lot of renovations here.
Beautiful. Well, you got to get home next week for that babysitting. So
yes. My daughter told me already. She said, "Dad, you gotta be home."
Rapid fire. We'll get you ready for your Yankees tonight, and hopefully they can squeak one out here for you.
I don't know. I think it's over. I hate to say
it. Doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Look good.
It's boring too.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, here we go, Joe. Rapid fire.
Okay.
Your last 30-second timeout. Quick answer. Here we go. Last book you read?
The last book I read. Not much of a reader, but the Bible.
Oh, wow. There you go. Last movie you saw?
Coming down to Florida, I watched actually, what was it? Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little corny, but it was cute.
My kid loved it. Last concert you went to?
Oh, Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, my God.
Brucey. Saw him back-to-back nights.
Did you really?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Loved him.
That's incredible. What's your favorite dish?
Oh, I mean, I'll take a steak any day, but my wife makes this like a chicken cacciatore dish. It's pretty damn good. And she also makes these lemon meatballs, lemon zest meatballs. Okay, there's a reason why I got a belly now.
I like that you said it's your wife's cooking. That's really nice.
No, she's good. She's good.
Pizza. Staten Island is famous for a few things. We got incredible pizza. Where's your spot?
Danino's, Jimmy Mac's. I can't go wrong. Either one. It's pretty much. Yeah, it's great. Love it. Love pizza. I could eat it every day.
Did you go to there after you played Port Richmond? Did you go to Danino's?
Yes, that was definitely our place. And then every home game, especially Friday night, was definitely Jimmy Mac's.
Beautiful. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's one of the questions. What was your after game routine?
Oh, it was probably up in the basketball office, turning on the computer, finding out what the other teams did. Then it would be go to Jimmy Mac's, have a couple beers and a pizza, and rehash the game with your coaching staff and say, okay, now, let's prepare for the next one. Because, basketball, it's not like football. You play once a week. Basketball, sometimes twice, 3 times a week. Sometimes you're on that NBA West Coast swing where you got 4 games in a week. So, again, can't get too high or too low, short-term memory, move on to the next one,
The wins and the losses.
Yep.
The Staten Island High School League tournament is
the best 10 days of Staten Island. Best 10 days.
Staten Island is fill in the blank.
My hometown.
It sure is. If you weren't in education, what field would you be in?
Ooh, this is going to sound crazy, but it's probably a landscaper. You know why? Because I always wanted my grass to look like Yankee Stadium. All right. So I actually cut a few of my neighbors' lawns now. Okay. I have a 92-year-old lady next to me, 94. So I help them out. And, it's like teaching. You nurture, you talk to it, you water it, you fertilize it, and you see it grow. My wife thinks I'm crazy, and it's also how I hurt my back. But what are you going to do?
You get the angle cut?
Oh, without a doubt. My goal is actually have a tractor with a cigar in my mouth and go up and down the block, because I grew up on the same block that I live on now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm like 9 houses away.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
What's a pet peeve of yours? You talked about a lot of your passions today. What's a pet peeve?
Pet peeve is probably the phones. That's my pet peeve. And, I think everyone can learn defense. I really think you could improve defensively. Not everybody could put the ball in a hoop, but defensively, you could really learn, whether it's technique, whether it's taking charges, whether it's hitting the floor, boxing out, fundamentals.
100%. At 8 a.m. on Saturday morning, I feel fill in the blank.
Oh, I feel like, okay, my day is starting. What am I doing? Am I going out and cutting lawns? Am I going to my grandkids? Am I going to practice? That's right. I don't remember the last time I was off on a Saturday morning.
One thing Joe Coscia is curious about.
Getting better in golf. I see all on Instagram, all of these experts, and it's like paralysis by analysis, because then I go to the course and I try it and it don't work. So I got to get better. I got to get better.
Something about Joe Coscia that people don't know about.
Oof. A lot of people look at me as a basketball coach, but I don't think they realize, how important baseball was to me growing up.
Yeah, and I didn't know that. You played at LIU. Yeah. That's awesome.
They said, why didn't you play basketball in college? And I would have loved to, but when's the last time you saw a 5'10" Italian guy and they said, like, pass the ball to the Italian guy, pass it to Enzo, he's open. Never. Plus the money was going to baseball. So I took the money and the scholarship.
Well, I hope your Yanks win tonight. Joe, I'm a quote guy. How about a quote to bring us home?
Let's see. I liked what you said earlier about you're never as bad as you think you are and never as good as you think you are. The other thing is, what? Just stay in an even keel, and next play. Yeah. That's it. You brought
that mentality. 35 years, Joe. Congratulations, Susan Wagner. They were lucky to have you, and you talk about consistency. You talk about someone who served the game. You did that. So as a Staten Islander, as a basketball guy myself, I say thank you.
Thank you for having me. This was great, a lot of fun, and what you're doing is tremendous. And keep on doing it, man. Keep on doing it.
We're going to get you a copy of Tales from the Hardwood. You'll eat it up, bro.
Okay. Sounds good.
Stay on the line a sec, Joe. We're going to sign off here, friends. If I can help you in any way, don't hesitate to reach out. And again, if you're watching this on record, leave Joe a comment. Leave Joe a congratulations. 35 years, that says a lot. That shows a hardworking person living on the same street he grew up on. That's awesome, Joe.
Yeah. Yep. Stand down, baby.
Joe Coscia, everyone. Joe, thanks so much, my friend.
All right. Great. All right. Thank you for having me.
Stay on the line.
All right. Have a great day.